meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the, well, first or next, however you want to look at it, is the approval of the March 16th regular meeting minutes. Thanks, Bob. Thank you, Sandy. Any discussion, changes, corrections? All good? And before we go to a vote, Director Luckhawk is absent, and Bob, you have her proxy, correct? All right, thanks. If there's nothing, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Thank you. The second is the work session from April 16th, the minutes from that work session.
Move to approve the minutes from April 16th.
Thank you, Kathleen. You seconded, Jackie? Thank you. Any corrections, changes, questions on those? Nope. All in favor? 9-0, thank you. Tom, Joint Advisory Committee notes, reports.
For the Recreation Committee, they met in March, I don't have the date, and everything was by and large pretty good. They approved the minutes at London Landing. Everything was clean. There was a log that was submerged near the dock that has since been removed. At Branchwood, overall usage of the pickleball courts, the disc golf course has been very high. Loch Lomond recreation area, also well maintained. A couple issues with the picnic tables and benches, and Blowing Springs overall good. Some potholes that need attention. Lake Ann and Metfield, another submerged log by a boat slip. Tanyard Creek, minor trail damage from the rain, and the rest of the information is available in the minutes for the Recreation Committee, and the minutes are available on our website. For the Lakes Committee, as of April 8th, Loch Lomond is refilling, is still 24 inches down. As of yesterday, it was actually 11 inches down. So it's getting better and better, or getting closer and closer to full pool. The kids' fishing derby is on May 9th at Metfield Pond starting at 8 a.m. The biology staff is currently conducting a bass population study on Lakes Rayburn and Loch Lomond. Both Kevin Adelson and Scott Hawes have terms expiring in June of this year, and their renewal is actually on our agenda. And Rob Montgomery's term is also expiring in June 26, and he's decided to not seek another term. And that is it for the Lakes Committee.
If I could, when you said Metfield Pond, that's 18 at Dogwood Golf Course, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Ruth Golf.
Okay, Golf Committee met on April 9th. Maintenance. The spring green up progressing well. Common Bermuda was still thin in some areas due to the cold nights. Only major winter kill was Highlands #1 tee box, and that's scheduled for a rebuild. Aeration completed on bent grass courses. The recovery is an ongoing process. Multiple erosion and drainage projects were complete or still in progress. Root pruning nearly complete across all courses. Autonomous mower testing plan for walking path maintenance. We're going to try that and see if that doesn't help make the new path. Capital projects moving forward, including creek bank repairs, green fan aeration or installation in Scottsdale new range practice area grow-in. Rounds and events, March round 16,490, slightly down from last year, down 306 due to the weather. Year-to-date rounds are 32,312, up 7,500 over last year because of a strong February. Cave bookings, 99 in March, 328 year-to-date. Remember, that's times 4 generally when they book a time for the Cape. Upcoming events are 3-person scramble, May 2nd, Folds of Honor, May 16th, and Alzheimer's tournament is June 20th. Multiple club fitting days are scheduled, Ping, TaylorMade, and Callaway. Time to get your new clubs. Time for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Junior programs are open for registration. And new business, the committee discussed gathering broad member feedback. The concerns were about formal surveys creating expectations that could not be met. And it was agreed upon by the committee that each one will speak to 20 plus or minus golfers and collect their top 3 important ideas for discussion at next month's meeting, which is May 13th at 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. Questions, comments? Get your new clubs.
Thanks, Ruth. Beth, financials.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. Oh, great. Still going the wrong way. What's happening here? I'm getting there, I think. Ah, okay. All right, we are finally here to talk about the March financials, and it's a long one because we have a lot of good things to talk about. For just the month of March, here's a quick snapshot. EBITDA for the month consolidated came in at $893,000, which was $452,000 better than budget and $218,000 better than last year, primarily due to strong water and property connection related revenue, which what I mean by that is the water meter installation fees, the capital buy-in fees, and the recreation amenity fees. Also, we had a good, strong auction in March with the sale of foreclosed lots. F&B revenue came in strong. Some partial offset by the golf fees mix, which I'll talk more about later. And we also continued to have favorable operating expense timing, and most of these are deferrals that are expected to reverse later in the year. Looking at revenue, consolidated for the month came in at $4.06 million, $158,000 better than budget, $500,000 more than prior year. Annual member green fees, pro shop equipment sales, food and beverage, foreclosed lot sales, vendor rebates, labor savings, and some effective expense management all contributed. Some key watch items from March that we'll keep an eye on. The guest green fees and cart rentals were down versus budget, and boat registrations were soft. And we continue to keep an eye on those expense timing reversals. Looking at year-to-date consolidated, the EBITDA reached $1.42 million year-to-date, which was better than budget by $987,000, and prior year by $533,000. Revenue totaled $10.5 million, reaching $421,000 better than budget and $1.2 million better than prior year. COGS and expenses were $565,000 better than budget and $640,000 more than the prior year. Looking at the POA only for the month, the POA's EBITDA reached $523,000 in March, and again, this is without water. That's better than budget by $251,000, better than prior year. Revenue finished $87,000 better than budget and $438,000 better than prior year. And COGS and expenses were $164,000 better than budget and $188,000 worse than prior year. Looking at golf for the month, just the golf operations, March EBITDA was better than budget by $3,000 due to well-managed expenses because their revenue barely missed budget by $16,000. But For the year to date, there you're still ahead of budget by 97,000. All the sources of revenue of annual green fees, driving range, pro shop sales all outperformed. Daily guest green fees did miss budget by 32,000 for the month, but they still outperformed prior year by 7,000. Daily member green fees missed budget by only 2,000 and beat prior year by 26,000. March COGS accounted for 73% of pro shop sales, and the operating expenses were 20,000 better than budget for golf, driven by labor savings. Looking at food and beverage department for the month, they barely missed their EBITDA budget by 1,000 in March. And revenue was strong, but expenses from earlier deferrals earlier in the year led to the EBITDA miss. But their year-to-date is better than budget by 69,000. Revenue was 16,000 better than budget, fueled by strong sales in a la carte food and beer. And though COGS was 12,000 worse than budget, that was primarily due to increased volume and food costs. Their gross margin still beat budget by 4,000, and COGS were 39% of total F&B income for March. Operating expenses were 5,000 worse than budget and 36,000 worse than prior year. That was primarily due to supplies and equipment tools. And again, that was kind of making up for earlier deferrals in the year. Locations, Gear Gardens, Highland Pub, Lake Point, the total of F&B golf locations were all better than their EBITDA budgets for March. Little Sugar Bistro and BV Bar and Grill both missed their EBITDA budgets. Some other March POA highlights that aren't food and beverage and golf related. We had several unbudgeted revenue wins come in. We got a nice patronage from Carroll Electric of 36,000, purchasing card rebate of 30,000, and advertising income of 8,000. All that was unbudgeted revenue. Membership transfer fees beat budget by 16,000 for the month, which partially reversed misses earlier this year. We fully expect to recover the 32,000 that were short on membership transfer fees as the year progresses. Recreation amenity fee beat budget by 14,000 for the month, completely reversing that softness earlier in the year. And this is a new fee in 26, contributing to capital projects. Some revenue misses. RV storage fees of 45,000 for the month missed budget by 7,000. But you can't really call it a miss. This is due to earlier than expected sales in previous months, and year to date they are still up 8,000. Membership transfer fees were 23,000 worse than budget due to timing, and we do expect that to improve later in the year. The deferred costs benefiting the POA that we expect to reverse were largely in health and dental and life, chemical supplies, and maintenance and repairs. And we continue to manage our labor well across the POA, and that resulted in 36,000 in savings compared to budget for March. Moving to water for the month, water had a strong month. It was the EBITDA was 370,000, which outperformed budget by 201,000, falling just short of prior year of 31,000. The revenue was strong, exceeded budget by 70,000, which further recovered some of the earlier year softness. Cost of goods sold was worse than budget by 31,000 and worse than prior year by 20. Operating expenses were better than budget by 162,000. That's largely due to the timing of meter installation supplies, which were 160,000 better in March. But those were recovering some timing variances earlier in the year, but they remain 48,000 better than budget year to date. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick first quarter review. So moving to POA first, POA without water for the quarter. The quarter's EBITDA was 405,000, which beat budget for the quarter by 779,000 and prior year by $439,000 due to strong revenue and controlled expenses. The revenue finished $264,000 better than budget for the quarter, $852,000 better than prior year for the quarter. And if you look at it on a quarter basis, the golf fees and food beverage and the recreation amenity fees all contributed largely to that revenue variance. Operating expenses were $514,000 better than budget, reflecting labor savings, deferred costs, and timing variances. While they are better than budget, they were $414,000 more than the prior year, but that's just showing the increased costs year over year. The golf fees beat the budget in prior year, both. Strong performances across all revenues of the golf fees for the quarter. Food and beverage, led by food sales and beer sales, resulted in beating budget and prior year, and unbudgeted revenue from the patronage and purchasing card. Some revenue misses. Blowing Springs Campground, this is looking at a quarter basis. Blowing Springs Campground had a slow start to the year. They've missed fees, missed budget by $39,000 and was $52,000 less than prior year. But we are seeing a positive trend in the reservations on the online reservation software, and we expect this variance to be recovered as the year progresses. Membership transfer fees are $32,000 worse than budget and $66,000 worse than prior year. We also expect this to improve as the year progresses. Some expense wins throughout the first quarter. POA leaders have excelled at managing expenses, beating their budget by $567,000 for the quarter. And again, much of that is just a deferral that we will see a reversal of in later months. To the left, you will see a by location on golf variance to budget. That is showing how much each location beat their EBITDA budget by. So you'll see that Tanyard Creek and Highlands both beat their EBITDA budget for the quarter by $48,000 each, and all of the locations beat their budget. Looking at food and beverage to the right, all the locations except Little Sugar beat their EBITDA variance for the quarter, with BV Bar and Grill beating theirs by $33,000, and Little Sugar Bistro has missed theirs by $36,000 for the quarter. Water for the quarter, their EBITDA reached $1 million in the first quarter, beating budget by $208,000 and beat prior year. Their revenue finished $157,000 better than budget in prior year, and their COGS and expenses were $51,000 better than budget, but $226,000 more than prior year. Moving to cash and debt, the POA has $2.7 million in operating funds, $873,000 reserves as of the end of March. The water utility has $3.4 million in operating funds and $3.7 million in reserves. The POA's debt to the water utility remains the same at $3.1 million. The POA has paid year-to-date interest of $35,000 to water, and we're on track to make the principal payments as planned in the 26 budget. We currently have outstanding bank loans totaling $5.67 million. The principal paid year-to-date on these notes totaled $71,000, and we continue to make scheduled payments that are in compliance with all the loan agreements, and those loan details can be found in our annual audited financials. And finally, the one-pager. On the left side, you will see by department EBITDA variances to budget year-to-date, and all the departments except for IT are well ahead of their EBITDA budget for the year-to-date. IT's only missed it by $5,000, so that barely counts. And water just edged out golf operations by less than $100 of being the winner year to date. The POA has beat EBITDA for the quarter by $778,000. I'm sorry, beat their EBITDA budget for the quarter by $778,000. And I believe we've talked about everything else. Any questions?
Yeah. Thank you, Beth. Okay, nobody in attendance, no emails, all right. On to an executive summary, executive session summary we had at our April 14th, 2026 meeting. City of Bentonville Water Wholesale Water Agreement. In interest of both sides coming to a resolution, the board voted to approve the City of Bentonville Wholesale Water Agreement as written. The vote passed in favor 7-0, with Director Luckhoff absent and Director Brandenburg abstaining. The City of Bentonville will vote on the proposed wholesale water agreement at the City Council meeting on April 28th. Yeah.
I got a prepared statement.
Yep, go right ahead.
Take a vote. So we put together this prepared statement, because anytime you sign a new wholesale agreement, well, what does that do to the average water customer's rate? So we put this together. We are pleased to announce the board has approved a new 10-year wholesale water agreement with the City of Bentonville. The City of Bentonville has been a major supplier of water for the POA Water Department since the 1980s, and with this agreement they will continue to supply water to the POA for at least 10 more years. The City Council for Bentonville will vote on the agreement at their April 28th meeting. Currently, there are no plans to change the rates for our water customers for the remainder of 2026. However, due to rising costs of wholesale water from both of our suppliers, it is likely there will be a reasonable increase in our water rates starting in early 2027. We want to be proactive moving forward, so the POA Water Department has hired an outside consultant to assist with the development of a detailed analysis of the impact of this new wholesale water agreement and how this new agreement and future capital investments will impact our water rates. On November 12th, 2026, the POA's Board of Directors will hold a community budget meeting. This meeting will be open to the membership. At this meeting, the board will present the proposed 2027 budget and fee schedule. That presentation will include the proposed water rates for 2027. Questions?
Thank you, Tom. If there's no questions, on to the annual non-performing lot analysis.
So each year, right as the election starts, we determine on March 31st the lots that are in good standing and that are paying. So those are, as long as they're, if they're more than 90 days late, they're not in good standing. But non-performing lots also includes lots that the POA owns, because we're not going to pay ourselves. And back in the day, the POA owned between 600 and 700 lots. We're now down to 35 and trying to sell those on a regular basis. So it's less of an issue. But the key there is the delinquent or non-performing. And on December 31st of 2015, so over 10 years ago, we had 20.6% of all the lots in the POA were not paying their assessments. That's a big number. And through the efforts of our accounting department, database, legal, member resources, we have lowered that from 20.6% down to 1.98. So we're actually slightly below 2%, which we are very, very pleased with. From a numbers point of view, that means that 7,261 additional lots are now paying their assessments where previously they were not. That has a positive financial impact over a one-year period of $1.37 million. And with all the usage of our amenities, when you have that many more lots paying, you have more people living here, more people using the amenities, more costs associated associated with that, so we really need that additional funds. Some additional data that is interesting, in that same time frame from the end of 2025 till current, we have added 3,979 additional improved lots. Improved lot is a home, and we're now just shy of 17,500. With the e-ballots, we have opt-ins where people will only receive an e-ballot, and as of March 31st, we were at 3,691, and we anticipate that will go up because when you vote now, you can actually opt in. So next year, you'll get only an e-ballot, and that saves us money because each election costs us $55,000. $55,000, and the majority of that expense is postage, paper, and processing, the whole thing. Let's see. And so the rest of the report is available on our website. So a lot of good trends, and many thanks to the many hands that work hard over an extended period to make those numbers better.
Yep, absolutely. Any questions? No. Thank you, Tom. The next is the draft of the annual audit report.
And the audit committee met with our auditors and reviewed the audit, a draft version of the audit, and they voted. We only had 3 members. Unfortunately, Jackie was not able to make it. You're not on that committee. We had 3 members there, and they voted in favor. And we are pleased to announce this is another clean audit. So congratulations to Beth and the entire accounting department for another clean audit. But we are asking the board to vote to approve the audit financials, and they will be made available on our website.
All right, somebody want to make a motion for that vote?
I make a motion approving the 2025 draft annual audit report as recommended by the audit committee.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Thank you, Kathleen. Any questions, comments, concerns? Nope. All right, all in favor? Thank you, 9-0. Next is the 2027 budget calendar.
So we put this out every year to make sure that everybody in our community knows what the budget calendar is. And we're actually moving it up a little bit this year. We're going to ask the joint advisory committees to start May 1st and conclude their work by July 31st, which is about a full month earlier than in previous years. The board is going to meet on August 13th, consider the recommendations from the Joint Advisory Committee, and give the marching orders to the department heads and their expectations and so forth. And we've also baked into this additional review time for the board. In previous years, the draft version of the budget was due on October 31st, and we're going to be able to get this to the board by October 26th. So a couple extra days for them to review. And so we are asking, we failed to give you guys a suggested motion, but if you could, I'm sure JB can come up with one, and approving the audit calendar for 2027. The budget calendar.
The motion? So moved.
I make a motion that we approve the proposed budget calendar for 2027.
Thank you, Jackie.
Second.
Thank you, JB.
You did a great job.
Any further conversation? This is a good thing. Gives us a little bit more time as a board to look over the numbers. So I know it has felt kind of rushed in the past. So we've talked about this a couple times. So all in favor? Did you have a comment? No. Okay. All in favor? Let's go. All opposed, or did you? You voted. I'm sorry. I did. That was quick. Okay, 9-0. Last is the Lakes JAC nominations.
It's that time of year again when Jessica is notifying all the JAC chairs about renewals and needing new members, and she'll be posting this, if you are watching at home and you would like to serve on a joint advisory committee, the lakes, the recreation, or golf, please get a hold of our corporate secretary. We'd love to get you an application if you're interested. Jessica's also going to be posting this on our e-newsletter that comes out every week. So the Lakes Committee is the first one that has jumped at it, and we have 2 re-ups. One is Kevin Adelson, who is currently the Vice Chair of the Lakes Committee, and then Scott Hawes has also served on the committee for 3 years.
Thank you. Need a motion, please?
I move to affirm the nomination of Kevin Adelson to the Lakes Committee.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, JB. I think everybody knows Kevin around the table. Any questions, comments, or concerns for Mr. Kevin? All in favor? 9-0. The motion for Mr. Scott.
I make a motion affirming the nomination of Scott Hawes to the Lakes Committee.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Jeff. Any conversation, comments, questions on Mr. Scott? Nope. All in favor? 9-0. That brings us to the end of the agenda items. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss before we go into the announcements? All right, announcements it is. Next Recreation JAC meeting is May 11th at 4 p.m. All these are in the boardroom or live stream unless otherwise noted. Lakes JAC meeting is Wednesday, May 13th at 2 p.m., followed by the Golf JAC Wednesday the 13th at 4. Rules and Reg Committee meeting is Thursday, May 14th at 1:30. Board of Directors GM meeting, which is a closed meeting, is May 14th at 2:30 here in the boardroom. The annual meeting of members and the election, Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. Board of Directors work session, next work session is May 21st at 9 a.m. Board of Officers and Board Liaison Assignments, which is a closed meeting, is May 28th at 4 here in the boardroom. The Board of Directors regular session is May 28th at 6. And tonight begins the NFL draft. Go Chiefs. Sorry, Tom.
And make sure you vote if you have not already done so. If the ballot is sitting on your island in the kitchen, please get to it and please vote. Every vote counts.
And check your spam junk email too.
Absolutely,
Sometimes they
and
land
go
there.
Dodger.
Yep. You got it. If that's all, stand adjourned.